to shepherd in the middle of the desert. Not only unpaid, but also have to eat and live with the queue. Because water is so precious, daily water intake is also limited. Even to go to the toilet, you have to use sand. He wants to run away, but hasn't run. 100 m was beaten by the boss, caught up and broke his eye, ankle with the butt. Looking at the endless vast desert, the man was completely stunned. Initially, Najib and Hakim, under the introduction of Trump, tuberculosis brokerage center, have come to the Middle East to work. However, as soon as he got off the plane, the two did not understand the source of the language. Completely embarrassed, the other party promised to introduce a revenue company, import goods to win a few dozen bulbs and have food and lodging. But there was no one to pick him up at the airport. Fortunately, my younger brother knows a little English, to make a phone call. But unexpectedly, because it was a weekend, the phone number of the company they apply, the team, could not be contacted. The two brothers could only wait outside. Suddenly an old man approached, asked for their names. Noticing that the two of them did not understand the source of the language, the old man immediately turned his back and left. Suddenly, he thought again. The two of you here are completely alien. There is no place to take refuge. The old man turned in front of the two brothers, take a look at their passports, then decided to take them both away. The car didn't know how long it had been going, when the two brothers were nodding, drowsy when the car stopped. Two brothers want to call home. Journalist bin but was separated by the old man. Hakim's brother was locked in an iron cage, and Najib was beaten by the old man, smashed, and then pressed onto the car. Brother Moho was led by the old man, a more desolate place in the desert. The old man called his nephew. Jasir went out, asked him to stay in Najib's house one night. After that, he turned his back and left. Jasir ordered Najib to sit in and then returned to the tent to sleep. Najib didn't understand Arabic, could only stand confused on the spot. Fortunately, the man next to him are also Indians. Najib can still understand a little bit of his language. Under the guidance of the man, Najib has been thirsty for a long time. To drink some water. Then he began to worry. To their resting place, the man sleeping under told Najib that can be located anywhere. So Najib chose to sleep next to Jasir's legs. Najib lies alone and has trouble sleeping. Couldn't help but sink into the memory. He originally worked hard in his hometown. The colleague next to me, smoking foreign cigarettes. Najib through colleague's nose. Yes, he is easy to. He works as a labor broker in the Middle East. Just 100 tubers are needed to get a visa to the Middle East and include air tickets. It takes 2 months to recover the capital, so Najib can't help but be steamed. Led by high-paying jobs, he decided to sell his new house, contribute enough in the tubers. Before you go, Najib also begged his mother to cook. Give yourself a meal. But I haven't had time to eat the memories of all. Najib stopped abruptly. He was discovered by Jasir, and woke up and pushed out of the tent. Najib had to curl up on the car sleeps overnight. The next morning, he awoke to the cry of the sheep. Open your eyes. He saw the old man milking sheep. Seeing that Najib had woken up, he immediately handed him a full bottle of milk. The old man asked Najib to bring in tents for people in it. Najib mistakenly thought it was milk for him, so I drank it all. The old man muttered, stood up and grabbed the vase. Then he filled a jar again. At this time Najib realized the milk bottle. This is to bring to Jasir. Waiting for Jasir to finish drinking, Najib tried and begged for, I was allowed to leave here. But he only received one blow. Najib was helpless to cry. Suddenly discovered, the old man brought me here yesterday. Was driving over. Najib was about to open his mouth to speak when he was forced to carry a heavy bag. After that, the other brother waited patiently next to him. Wait for the two uncles and grandchildren to finish talking. Najib tried to prove it again, himself. But Jasir, compress him with a work uniform. He hurriedly searched for the papers in his pocket, to show to the two uncles and grandchildren. But unexpectedly, they tore the city apart. Najib was completely in despair. Remember to keep an eye on it to avoid it later, causing trouble for us. Don't worry about this. It's newbie. Then they will quickly learn it all. It's been a long time since I've eaten. He sat in a daze on the spot. The old man feared that the labor force. I just picked it up, and I would be hungry. Bin called Najib to eat dry bread again. It's been a long time since I've eaten. Najib saw that the food was no longer angry. He walked into the tent and grabbed it. Delicious bread, but choked to the point of not being able to swallow. So Jasir handed him a glass of water. Wait for Najib to be less uncomfortable. Jasir gave him a cake dip, noodles in the water, and then eat. Najib slowly adapted. Come on. Najib asks the Indian Lao. Directions to help me. The old man only said a very distant sentence, making Najib's status drop again. That night, Najib could not bear it. Nostalgia for his wife. He sank into memories again. Before Najib left the house, his wife was pregnant. Because I don't know my gender, Najib has given 2 names in particular for the baby who is about to be born. The next day, when Najib was about to go to the bathroom, was kicked by Jasir once. It turns out that he intends to use a precious source of water, most in the remote membrane for cleaning. Jasir said that the water was bought by him, their money, and not allow Najib to use it. Then he threw the bucket of water away. Seeing that, the old man pressed a handful of sand and came out, signaled that Najib knew the new way to clean. Najib couldn't take it anymore. But when the country delivery people came, they tried, begging him to take me away. But, unfortunately, he was hit by Lao. Up here, even if you don't understand the language. But Lao is a person who has experienced it. He quickly guessed that Najib wanted to hide. The old man immediately took the swivel on his head, get down, and whipped Najib a few times. Najib feels a wish in his heart, should hold the swivel. Unexpectedly, the old man came back, pulled out a gun. Najib had to be obedient. The water delivery man was also warned. This statue frightened the emperor, causing water to spill out. The old man swirled far away in the precious water, should give up the intention to shoot Najib. Turn the person to ask for the delivery person. The water is off, and the water is off. Najib looks at the trail of water flowing on the ground, remember, see, to their hometown of Green Mountains. Although life in my hometown is very poor, but with his beloved wife by his side, life is still full of motivation. Now Najib can only remember. Memories are full of nostalgia. When Najib opened his eyes, seeing the endless expanse of the desert, he could only cry bitterly. That night, when I passed by the Chumsu, Najib couldn't help but ask him, "How long have you been here?" The Indian man replied that he had stayed here for so long that I don't remember it well. He doesn't even remember his name. The old man from India does not, couldn't help but sigh. The person in this place couldn't get out. Immediately afterwards, Najib's tears flowed again. He couldn't imagine life. I will rot in this place. The next day, the Indian old man is gone. Najib was forced to start work. He was looking forward to milking the goat, but was kicked out by a goat. The family can't see anymore. So he sat down and took the right posture. At this point, Najib mastered the technique, but when he herded goats, he encountered a problem. Najib wants to separate 2 ramming goats, but were knocked down. Just as I was about to try to get up, he was looked at by the goats again, is the target of the attack. Najib fainted on the ground in pain. Was by Jia for the province. Han just gave Najib a sip of water and fell in love, asked him to stand up and go herding goats. I don't care if Najib has injured or not. Goats grooming date. Najib has long remembered. Then I haven't shaved yet. When Najib looked in the mirror, he was shocked by the image of God. I was stunned. He couldn't count how much he had been in. How many days are stuck in the membrane? When the old man passed by, smashed the mirror. He did not allow Najib to have their own perception. Najib is not committed to living like that, so when he went to herd goats, he was about to escape, but it was discovered that the old man was in the howl. In the distance is being eaten by vultures. He wanted to chase away the vultures, but were violently attacked by them. Najib quickly exhausted. As soon as he left the body, the vultures quickly flew over. This made Najib even more determined to flee. So when you go to release camels, he turned around and ran away unexpectedly. The old man chased after him with a gun. Najib was thus beaten to death. The old man led hard at his ankle. When Najib regained consciousness, he was locked up next to the goat. But suddenly encountered haily weather. When Najib drove a goat into a cave to avoid rain, discovered at the end of the cave, there is another exit. Najib then followed the cave on. When you reach the exit on the other side, he suddenly discovered that there was people like me. Najib realized through his voice, the person in front of him was Hakim. Seeing the only relative in front of him, Najib couldn't help but cry with him. The 2 of them haven't said a few sentences. Hakim's master had arrived, so he had to leave quickly. After that first meeting, there was a little comfort in Najib's heart. That day, Hakim, when the master was not paying attention, hid a letter of precept, family name for Najib to read. Najib waited for the old man to leave. Immediately ran out to take a picture. The letter was blown away by the wind. In the letter, Hakim wrote that he had just been sent here after meeting Najib, because Hakim came home late and was beaten in one battle. But Hakim is still happy to be able to meet relatives again. Hakim mentions that he works with a black family being here for many years and very along the routes. Hakim hopes to escape to that black man. After reading the letter, Najib tries to hold back tears and herd camels back to breed the precepts of the black people. Hakim went to Najib's place. He informed Najib that his son, the patriarch's daughter, is about to get married. Hakim and the black family that day to escape, because at that time, everyone went to the wedding. Najib felt a little nervous. He had lost faith in running away. After a night of thought, Najib finally made up his mind. The next day, Najib sees off his two uncles and nephews, attend the wedding, immediately took a bath under the faucet, change of clothes and socks, only in the pocket. When Hakim arrived, Najib left with them, going to midnight. All three of them were thirsty. The black man decided to go and get water for the two brothers. But unexpectedly, it caused an uproar. Ara misunderstood as deceitful and chased by them with guns. After the three escaped from danger, no one dares to think about it anymore, about going to get water. Najib's shoes were also fell while running. They slept on the cutting all night because they were too tired. Then continue on the road. The black man led the way for them. Follow the sun to the west. Suddenly, the two brothers discovered on the side of away from a camel drinking water. But as they approached, only saw the carcass of a camel. The two brothers felt extremely disappointed. As the three of them continued forward, the black family suddenly pushed. Hakim fled to the side. Najib reacted slowly, trapped by a herd of snakes passing by. According to the instructions of the black family, Najib could only stand still. Finally, past the snakes. Although Najib made it through the snakes, but because he has been limping for too long, his leg was infected. To help Najib overcome difficulties, the black man took off his zeal shirt. I then tore it in half, made shoes for Najib. That helped him to keep going. The three of them went all day and rested at night. For there is no water and no food. They also don't know that they will bear how long it lasts. Hakim's youngest brother is the first. Barry lost control. Before losing consciousness, he sees the illusion of a city. Despite the obstruction of his teammates, he frantically ran forward and devoured cuts. Najib tried to stop him, but was strangled by Hakim. By this time, he was completely out of his mind. In Najib's call, Hakim regains his senses and spitting sand in the mouth of the skin. Despite this, he still believes that the way ahead is the way out. So, in spite of it all, he ran forward, but because of the fire, exhausted and then collapsed. Hakim began to convulse and bleed. Najib doesn't know how to save the blacks. But the black brother could only say sorry. Suddenly, the black man felt air transferred by the ground. He looked out into the distance and saw sandstorms are coming. The black man instantly discolored and pulled. Najib was by Hakim's side, and the sandstorm is expected to hit and cover on Hakim's body in front of him. The black man pulled and carried. Najib came out of the center of the sandstorm. When the two woke up, Hakim was already bleeding. Because of the departure of the sun, Najib began to despair. When the black man was going to take him, arriving the next day, he realized that Najib could no longer walk. Even if he pulls, he walked a distance. Najib quickly collapsed. Black people realize that his body is not good. When black people take off bandages on Najib's feet, he discovered the leg of Najib missed the ulcer. Reluctantly, the black man gave his shoes to Najib. Suddenly, the black man discovered out of a lizard god. He was happy to follow it. Hearing the sound of water, Najib immediately reacted. He used his last bit of strength, together, to the riverbank. When he was about to drink water to his heart's content, were stopped by black people. After that, the blacks used a few soaks, some water and dripped it on Najib's lips, helping him reduce the pain. The blacks also found the empty bottle nearby. After pouring out all the cuts in the bottle, he used an empty bottle to blow songs to celebrate. The next day, the two of them discovered the sack again, new skin and wheel marks. When they decide to follow the wheel, then discover the road ahead, have been cut and buried. The two of them fell into despair again. When Najib woke up, he didn't see where the shadow of the black man is, only saw a bottle of water that he had left behind. Therefore, Najib had to carry a bottle, water and continue on the road. After falling to the ground from exhaustion, Najib had run out of water bottles. Suddenly, Najib realized his water bottle, just thrown away. It is spreading in one direction. He had more hope, so he continued to follow the direction of the water bottle. But after a few steps, Najib fell heavily on the sand again. The water bottle in his hand from orchids to the street. By midnight, when Najib woke up, he found that he had reached the asphalt. He tried to force himself to block the car from passing. But many drivers passing by criticized him. So dirty that they don't stop, until a brother launches the child. Rolls-Royce stopped Najib to be saved. He helped Najib into the back seat, then take him back to the city. After getting off the bus, Najib has expressed his gratitude, continue to find a way to survive, but because he was too exhausted, he collapsed on the side of the road. When Najib regained consciousness, he has been recognized by his compatriots to sign the price. Najib was bathed and had his hair cut. Shave the strawberries clean, because there is no identification. People can only buy medicine for him. Fortunately, Najib was only injured in addition. Nothing serious. After he regained his senses a little, compatriots help him make phone calls to go home to report peace. After that, Najib was taken to the station by everyone, police to register information. On the wall of the police station there is the image of the pursued person. The guns and pictures of the black family were also there. Only then did he understand the reason the black family left. As Najib prepares to be deported, the bosses came to the prison. If recognized as a runaway slave, will withdraw and beat them back anyway. Najib did not expect that the old man, Jiabai, was also present. Afraid that he will give, I went back to the cage. Najib was scared, and did not dare to stop his head. Although the old man recognized Najib, but did not lead him away. This makes Najib a little suspicious. The compatriot next to him said, "To give you the truth, the white uncle is not Najib's true master, so they don't have the right to take him away. For your skin is guaranteed by others, but that person has arrested you." When he saw Uncle Jiabai leave, Najib breathed a sigh of relief. After 3 months in prison, Najib finally arrived. Date of deportation. He has overcome it all. The painful experiences of old. Najib continued. Heat carriers, blood to China. Dong is looking for a light job with a high salary. Because he did not know the locality, he was.
Enjoyed the video? Hit subscribe, drop a like, share with your crew, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk movies.